A nuclear war had turned the whole world into a radioactive wasteland. Amidst this wasteland, there was now a green place where Furiosa is seen picking peaches with her sister Valkyrie. Her sister is quite afraid and tells her to go back. Meanwhile, Furiosa spots a group of raiders who have found this place. Furiosa decides to trap them there so that others do not find out about the green place. She goes near a bike and sabotages it. But when she goes near another bike, a raider catches her, and Furiosa immediately attacks him with a knife, making the raider scream and alerting the other raiders. Furiosa tries to escape, but a raider catches her with a rope and pulls her back. Furiosa quickly blows the danger alert whistle, which her mother, Mary, hears, and she sets out with her companions to rescue them. But when she arrives, she realizes that the raiders have already taken Furiosa away. They follow them, and one of Mary's companions kills a raider. Mary decides to follow them, and her companion gives her a sniper rifle, tells her to take care, and sends her off. As Mary gets closer, she kills another raider. One of the raiders sees Mary chasing them on her bike and quickly takes a petrol can and the tire from the dead raider's bike, and they flee before she catches them. Mary attaches parts from her bike to the dead raider's bike and continues the chase on Thunderbike. Furiosa bites the petrol tube of Raider Toe Jam's bike, causing it to stop after a short distance. He takes an extra petrol can from his companion's bike. This action angers his companion, and they start arguing. In the meantime, they hear the sound of Mary's Thunderbike, which frightens Toe Jam's companion. He insists on leaving Furiosa behind. However, Toe Jam convinces him that they need the girl as proof for Dementus, and they quickly leave. The next morning, they are very close to their destination when Mary, once again aiming her sniper, kills one of them. Toe Jam reaches Dementus's territory. Before he can inform Dementus of anything, Furiosa's cunning causes him to fall off his moving bike and break his neck. Dementus's men take them both to him, and one of them tries to make Toe Jam draw a map by hanging him upside down. Before he can do so, Furiosa kicks him repeatedly, killing him. They capture Furiosa, but on Dementus' orders, they take her to a tent to rest. On the other side, Mary, disguised as a raider, takes advantage of a sandstorm to infiltrate their territory. After killing a raider, she enters Furiosa's tent. Inside, a woman begs Mary for her life, pleading on behalf of her children. Mary spares her and leaves with Furiosa, but the woman immediately alerts the others, who then attack them. As a result, Mary is set on fire and severely injured. When Dementus learns about the incident, he begins to chase them with the help of his dogs. Mary hears the sound of their bikes and stops. She gives Furiosa a seed, telling her to go home and plant it. Then she puts Furiosa on the bike and sends her home while she stays behind to fight the attackers. As the raiders approach, Mary starts killing them one by one. However, due to their numbers, the raiders eventually capture her. Furiosa, having traveled only a short distance, turns the bike around to save her mother. When she arrives, she sees that they have tied her mother to a tree. He asks Furiosa for the location of the green place one last time, and when she refuses to tell him, he burns her mother alive in front of her. Dementus then imprisons Furiosa in a cage and calls her Little D. Sometime later, one of Dementus's men attempts to escape with some of his followers, but fails and is captured. Dementus then orders the followers to kill the man in exchange for their lives, and they do so while Furiosa watches with open eyes, despite Dementus's orders not to. Dementus gives Furiosa a teddy bear, but she throws it away. In the cage with Furiosa is a man named History Man, who tells her to learn a skill to become valuable to Dementus, ensuring her survival. However, Furiosa ignores him. One day, while searching for the green place, they see a flare and encounter a war boy from Citadel, serving under a lord named Immortan Joe. On Dementus's orders, the war boy leads them to Citadel. Seeing a large number of bikers, they hide in fear. Dementus incites the people to rebel against Immortan Joe and make Dementus their lord, promising better care. However, on Immortan's order, one of Immortan Joe's war boys performs a suicide bombing against Dementus's men. Following this, on the orders of Immortan Joe's sons, Scrotus and Rictus, the war boys attack, causing Dementus's people to flee. While Furiosa's cage is being hoisted up by chains, Dementus rescues her and takes her with him. After that, Dementus conducts surveillance in the surrounding area and discovers that there is a place called Gastown, where Immortan gives water and vegetables in exchange for gasoline, with the local ruler. The next day, Dementus and his men attack Immortan Joe's war rig and seize it. Then, Dementus disguises some of his men as war boys and, along with Octobos, a companion with his own followers, they head towards Gastown. pretending that Dementus's men are attacking Immortan Joe's men. Seeing this, a worker informs the ruler of Gastown, but due to suspicion, he does not allow them to open the gates. To prove the reality of the situation, Dementus starts killing his disguised men. The ruler of Gastown, believing it to be real, orders the gates to be opened. Once inside, they take over Gastown. Dementus then sends the ruler's finger to Immortan Joe, demanding a meeting. Immortan Joe agrees. When Dementus arrives, he brings the captive ruler of Gastown with him. When Immortan Joe's son tries to attack Dementus, he kills him in retaliation. Dementus then proposes a deal to Immortan Joe, stating that he will remain the ruler of Gastown and will exchange gasoline for water and vegetables. At this moment, Immortan Joe notices Furiosa and begins questioning her, to which Dementus claims that she is his daughter. However, Furiosa denies it and reveals everything to Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe then agrees to the deal in exchange for Furiosa and one of Dementus's physicians. As they leave, Dementus angrily takes back his teddy bear from Furiosa. After this, Immortan sends Furiosa to a vault where his other wives are kept. One of Immortan's wives gives birth, but due to the baby being abnormal, he leaves in anger. Rictus starts playing with Furiosa's hair, and Furiosa realizes that her situation is not safe. She goes to her room, retrieves seeds from her hair, and cuts her hair to make a wig. At night, Rictus comes and kidnaps her. Before he can do anything, Furiosa escapes, leaving her wig in his hands. Rictus chases her, but Furiosa hides under a bridge. Meanwhile, Rictus's brother arrives, prompting Rictus to quickly discard the wig, and the two brothers leave. Some time passes, and Furiosa, disguised as a worker boy, starts working there. Due to her skills, she quickly rises to the rank of dogman. On Immortan's orders, construction of another dangerous war rig begins, and Furiosa is among the workers. Rictus sees her again, but before he can recognize her, his brother arrives and takes him away from Furiosa. For a few days, they continue working, and finally, the war rig is ready. During this time, Furiosa sees the war rig driver, Praetorian Jack, who was very famous for his work. After the war rig is completed, one night, Furiosa hides some food supplies under it so she can escape the next morning. However, one of Jack's companions sees her and, when questioned, Furiosa makes an excuse about needing to urinate. The next morning, they set off towards Gastown in the war rig. Suddenly, Octoboss, who was once Dementus's ally but had now abandoned him, and his men attack the war rig. Due to this attack, all the war boys are killed one by one, including Dementus's friend, who had come down to fix the faulty engine. Then, Furiosa springs into action. First, she saves the rig from being destroyed by a bomb, and then starts killing everyone one by one. She cleverly traps Octoboss in ropes and then drags him towards a bomby knocker and kills him. Afterward, she goes to Jack and at gunpoint tells him to stop the rig. Jack easily tricks her and throws her out of the truck, and after that he drives away. After traveling some distance, he returns and praises Furiosa's sharp eyes. He then offers to teach her a lot about the war road and asks her to join his crew. Furiosa agrees. Then, we see a scene set sometime later where Furiosa has now become a warrior. She and Jack are in the rig, heading to Bullet Town. They exchange fruits and vegetables for bullets. Jack also acquires a double-barrel shotgun from the Bullet Town's leader. On the way back to the Citadel, he gives the gun to Furiosa and tells her she is now fully prepared and that if she wants to go home, he will arrange supplies for her. That night, Furiosa dreams of her mother, wakes up frightened, and attacks Jack, but he quickly stops her and helps her fall asleep again. The next morning, they go to Gastown. After exchanging fruits when they were about to load the fuel, Dementus's men attack them like madmen. Dementus tells them to follow him, claiming the situation is out of his control and that he wants to meet Immortan Joe at the Citadel in 3 days. This was a trick by Dementus, but they had no idea and followed him to save their lives, leaving Gastown without any gasoline. When Immortan Joe learns of this, he becomes very angry and orders Jack to bring a lot of guns and bullets from Bullet Town the next day. At night, Jack stitches up Furiosa's wound, which she got from Gastown. The next day, they head towards Bullet Town. Midway, Jack stops the rig and instructs the war boys to fill up a car with water and food. He then tells Furiosa to drive the car while he stays in the rig with a war boy. Soon, they reach Bullet Town and enter through the gate. Suddenly, they are ambushed. They try to escape, but the gates are closed, and only Furiosa, being in the last car, manages to get out. Jack signals her to leave while he advances with the rig to destroy Bullet Town. Furiosa tries to leave in the car, but then turns back. She grabs a sniper and starts clearing the way for Jack by taking out Dementus's men. Dementus tricks Furiosa and attacks her with an RPG. Seeing this, Jack rams the rig into the tower where Dementus is. The tower starts collapsing, and Dementus quickly grabs onto a bridge. Then the rig gets stuck in a crane and begins to fall. But Furiosa arrives just in time and saves Jack. They both escape and head towards the green place in the car. Dementus, furious at his plan's failure because of them, breaks through a gate with his car and starts chasing them with his men. Soon, he catches up. Jack shoots at him with a sniper, but Dementus's car is bulletproof, so it has no effect. When Dementus gets closer, Furiosa tries to shoot him from the side, but he rams his car, breaking her arm. They lose control of the car and it flips over. Dementus gets out of his car and pulls them out. He ties Jack to a bike and the bike starts dragging him. He also sets his dogs on Jack. He hangs Furiosa by her broken arm, making her watch. The bikers continue circling until Jack dies. When Dementus gets out of his car to kill Furiosa, he realizes she has escaped, leaving only her severed arm behind. He tries to chase her, but his car won't start, giving Furiosa the chance to run away. After running for a while, she collapses and passes out. When she wakes up, she finds herself in a cave. She tries to run back to Immortan. Meanwhile, Immortan is planning to head towards Gastown after seeing smoke in that direction. But Furiosa arrives and informs him that it's a trap set by Dementus, and advises him to head towards Bullet Town. Immortan decides to send some men towards Gastown to deceive Dementus and prepares to head to Bullet Town himself. Thus, a war breaks out between Immortan and Dementus's armies, lasting for 40 days. Furiosa makes a prosthetic hand and attaches it. After that, she cuts her hair. Then she goes to Immortan's people and asks for a car to go to the battlefield. They tell her that no car is left from the battle. But then, an old man comes and takes Furiosa to show her a car. Despite being in bad condition, the car was still drivable. So, Furiosa takes it and reaches the battlefield, where she learns that Dementus has fled with some people to save his life. Furiosa helps those people fix a car. Then, Immortan's two sons are arguing about who will go after Dementus, when Furiosa quickly takes the car and leaves. After covering some distance, she reaches Dementus and starts killing his people one by one. Dementus tells everyone to split up. Furiosa goes after Dementus's bikes, but upon getting close, she realizes Dementus had swapped with another person. On the other side, we see Dementus riding a bike into a sandstorm. The next morning, Dementus wakes up. As soon as he steps outside, he realizes someone else has already reached him. He shoots at Furiosa, but the gun is empty. He then tries to escape. Furiosa starts chasing him in her car. Finally, he surrenders. Furiosa steps out and asks Dementus if he recognizes her. Initially, Dementus doesn't recognize Furiosa. Furiosa beats him up until he has seizures and faints. When he regains consciousness, he recognizes Furiosa by the teddy bear in her hand. He then asks Furiosa to kill him, but she doesn't. Furiosa takes Dementus captive in the dungeons of the Citadel. After a long time, we see a peach tree growing from Dementus's body with a fruit on it, which Furiosa picks. Then we see Furiosa hiding Immortan's wives in the rig to rescue them, and the movie ends there.